morning on this 22-degree Fahrenheit morning. Yeah, late fall is definitely upon us here in southern Ohio, which means very, very brisk mornings. Today I am in Tar Hollow State Park and State Forest, and I'm hiking Ross Hollow Trail solo. Now, somewhere along the way, I'm going to update you on some photography gear changes I've made and why I've made them. I'm going to talk to you about why I'm hiking solo and hopefully make a photo or two along the way as well. So anyway, enough chat. Let's get hiking. Well, there you go. I just stopped to take my first photo, and hopefully you enjoyed it. It was sort of a very simple little scene, but I liked the complementary, or contrasting, I should say, textures between that sort of fuzzy vine, the little leaf sitting there against the tree bark. So I guess since I've already stopped to take that photo, I'll take this opportunity to talk about why am I solo today. Well, no harm, no foul. Alana is actually at home cutting glass, learning to cut glass, and she has started a new hobby, which is stained glass. Now, up over my head, I'll actually link to her channel. I don't think she's done any videos yet. I don't know. She may be home doing that today. I know it is her intent to share along with her journey. She knows nothing about stained glass, so she's starting from ground zero, but wants to get into both small things like candle holders and little Christmas ornaments, but eventually up to all the way up to making plate glass and things like that. So anyway, if you're interested in her journey with stained glass, check out her channel. Like I say, it was linked over my head, and I'll put it in the description down below. And she, you know, I know she's not going to stress herself with upload schedules or anything. She's seen me put too much pressure on myself with this channel with a regular upload schedule, so she's already learned all what not to do there. So anyway, that's the first update. So far, a little over a mile and a half in on this hike. It's been absolutely fabulous, both a positive and a negative. From the trailhead, or at least the parking lot just off the campground where I started, it's almost straight up. So almost immediately I got a lot of heat going, and you can see I already shed my puff jacket and switched over to this real light jacket. Yeah, it's just real nice being in the woods. Super quiet here. I'm the only person I've seen so far, so that's all for now. I'm gonna hit the trail again. Here we go. Well, I did just stop here for a second photo of this little bit of moss and red leaf you can see sort of down in the bottom corner over there. Before I show you that image, let me first deal with the other item I said I'd talk about in this video, and that's my gear change. So my Nikon D810, as well as almost all of my F-mount glass, is now no longer in my possession. I've sold it either to friends or to KEH and let all of it go. You say, why? Well, I have been so doggone happy with my Nikon Z6 that I was kind of willing to let it go while there was still a little bit of value to it. Since Nikon has now come out with the Z6 and Z7 II models, that puts my camera 2 full generations behind. And I knew that the value was just going to continue to tank. Now, as far as the glass goes, I did hold on to my 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 f-mount lens that I'll use with the adapter, as well as my 20mm f1.8 prime that I use with astrophotography. And I picked up a new Z-mount, the 14-30 I believe it is, to make up for some of the wider angle. As far as my long-term goal with gear, well, I'm still waiting on some lenses for Nikon and the Z mount. Ultimately, I'd like to replace the 20-70 f4 that I have. While I've been exceptionally happy with it, I want just a little bit more reach, and they do have on the forecast, or eventually, I guess, a f4 24mm to 105, and I really think that that would help me both with the B-roll and video. And then after that, I would like to get the 100 to 400. So that would basically give me from 14mm through 400mm in 3 lenses, all of those being an f4, a presumed f4. So that's my long-term plan. Of course, some of that glass isn't available just yet. I also do plan to purchase the Nikon Z7 II for a higher megapixel camera. That's two main things that are really driving me now into that camera where I didn't before. The 2 memory cards addresses an issue I had, and I also would like to have a camera that's capable of the 4K 60. And anyway, I also want more megapixels. I do a lot of cropping, and while I'm still learning a lot in photography, I tend to recompose after I take a photo, and it's been nice with the 36, 37 megapixel of my D810 to always be able to widen up a little bit, let that image breathe, and then find that final tweaked in composition later. With the 25 megapixel of the Z6, I have been a little scared to do that, so I tend to slow down and try to get it right in camera, which in a sense has actually been better for me as well. So anyway, now on to that second image, but upfront contract before I show you that second image, I forced it a little bit. I know if you can hear some background noise, I'm actually getting really close back to the campground. I'm getting towards the tail end of this hike, and I saw quite a few compositions that I found good subjects, off in the distance or even close, and I found good foregrounds, but I just didn't find a scene where I felt like I could put everything together at once. And now the light is coming on a little bit harsher. So anyway, I kind of rushed to get an image in, and well, we'll see how it actually turned out right now. All right, well, there you go. Like I said, that last one was a little forced, so it is what it is. I've wrapped up the hike now, and as far as my review of the trail and the park in general, I really enjoyed that trail. Now, I ended up with 4.5 miles. Again, I thought I was in for, the signs say 3.5, and Hiking Project, the app that I use a lot, said that it was going to be 3.7. I ended up with 4.5. Now, even though I do a little bit of back and forth when I'm trying to figure out a photograph, I don't think it was quite that much. So I noticed a reroute around some down trees, and I think that has added just a little bit of mileage. I doubt it's going to make enough difference between the two or not, but it is a little bit more than the advertised links that I saw anywhere. Would I recommend it? I would. Again, I think it's a great hike, especially this time of year. This time of year is my favorite time to hike in Ohio. The only cautionary notes, and certainly not complaints, just that, cautionary notes, is I would consider not bringing small kids, or at least kids that are not familiar with hiking quite a bit. There's definitely some sections that are pretty narrow with sort of a shelf down off into the hollow. If they slip down there, I don't think they're really going to get hurt or anything, but they could be basically sledding down, and then it could be a good ways down, hiking down the ravine before they could get back up. And there are some pretty steep up and downs in just a few spots that, while it was dry here today, I had absolutely no issue. If it was raining or just after some rain, I think you could probably have a little bit of a different experience there. But yeah, it's been a really great day. I would recommend it. Again, Tar Hollow State Park, Ross Hollow Trail. Now, one last note, this channel is sponsored today by me. It's always sponsored by me. The only payment I ever get is your likes, subscribe, so please do both if you've made it this far and you're enjoying the content. Also, please ring that notification bell so the next time I post a video, you find out. And with that being said, bye-bye for now.